Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be shining a light literally on a pretty fascinating area of science that's really been making waves in dentistry.
Right.
It's called photobiomodulation.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking, what is that? Well, it's basically using specific wavelengths of light to really help the body heal faster, reduce pain, and tackle inflammation.
That's right.
So if you've ever dealt with gum disease or post-surgical discomfort, you are going to want to stay tuned for this deep dive.
Absolutely.
We're going to be exploring all the compelling research showing just how powerful photobiomodulation can be, especially when it comes to these really common dental challenges.
Yeah, and it's really remarkable.
Right.
The potential here is really remarkable. And what's so fascinating about it is that it's not just like science fiction. This is grounded in real science and a growing body of research.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty here. We're talking about gum disease and post-surgical pain. How widespread are these issues?
Well, just to give you a sense of the scale, I mean, one of the studies we have here looked at 609 dental implants placed in 288 patients. And that's just one study. Gum disease in particular is incredibly common. I mean, chances are you or someone you know has likely experienced it at some point.
Absolutely. It seems like everyone I know has dealt with some sort of gum issue.
Yeah.
So how does photobiomodulation actually work to address this? Does it just shine a light and poof, the pain's gone?
Well, it's a little more complex than that, but the principle is surprisingly simple. So specific wavelengths of light, like 635 nanometers and 810 nanometers, are used to stimulate your cells at a very fundamental level. Imagine, if you will, these wavelengths as keys that can unlock your cell's healing potential.
Got it.
They essentially supercharge your cells' energy production and encourage them to repair and regenerate more effectively.
Okay, so I'm picturing tiny little cellular power plants getting a boost of energy from this light.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about speeding up healing. It's about improving the quality of healing as well. So, for example, one study found that using a 635 nanometer diode laser actually led to significantly greater secondary stability and bone density in patients with dental implants.
Now, when you say secondary stability, what exactly does that mean for someone who's like, I'm considering implants?
That's a great question. So secondary stability refers to how well the implant integrates with the surrounding bone after that initial healing phase.
Got it.
So it's basically a measure of how strong and secure that implant is within the jawbone.
So this laser is helping the implant become more firmly anchored in the bone.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds crucial for long-term success.
Absolutely.
And it seems like this approach could be a real game changer for gum disease as well.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier about how common it is, and I know a lot of people struggle with the traditional treatment.
Oh, absolutely. And another study focused specifically on treating periodontal pockets. Those are those little spaces, you know, that form between the gums and the teeth. They're a key indicator of gum disease. And this study used a dual wavelength diode laser, specifically 810 to 980 nanometers. And the results were really promising.
What did they find?
They found that there was a significant reduction in both pocket depth and bleeding in the group that received the laser treatment.
Less bleeding, shallower pockets. What would that mean for someone dealing with gum disease on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it could potentially translate to less invasive treatments, fewer surgical interventions, and a better overall prognosis for managing their gum health.
Wow.
And that's not all. There's another study we looked at that examined the use of a 445 nanometer diode laser during the process of uncovering titanium implants.
So this is after the implant has been placed and is ready for the tooth to be built on it.
Exactly. It's like the second stage of the implant procedure. And what they found was that using this specific laser in a non-contact mode significantly reduce the temperature increase in the implant during the uncovering procedure. And this is a big deal because excess heat can actually damage the surrounding tissues and slow down healing.
So this is helping to keep things cool, minimize trauma.
Exactly.
And potentially lead to faster healing.
Precisely.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm starting to see why there's so much excitement surrounding photobiomodulation.
Yeah, and that excitement is definitely justified. What we're seeing here is a convergence of this compelling science and cutting-edge technology with companies like MedWave at the forefront of this innovation.
Let's talk about that. Let's shift gears and talk about how they're bringing this technology to life. How does MedWave fit into all of this? What are they doing that's so groundbreaking?
Well, MedWave Group is really leading the charge in developing and refining photobiomodulation technology specifically for dental applications. And what's particularly interesting is that they're focusing on those wavelengths we've been discussing, 635 nanometers and 810 nanometers, incorporating them into their products.
So they're taking this cutting-edge research and translating it into real-world solutions for dentists and patients.
Exactly.
That's incredible. So what are some of the benefits that patients might actually see from this kind of technology?
Well, if we connect the dots between the research we've been discussing and MedWave's approach, there's a lot to be excited about.
Okay.
I mean, imagine a world where dental procedures are less painful.
Right.
Recovery is faster. Gum disease can be managed more effectively.
That would be great. Let's be realistic, though.
Yeah.
Not every study is going to show perfect results, right?
Of course not. I mean, photobiomodulation, it's still a relatively young field.
Right.
There's always more research to be done, and some studies have shown less dramatic results than others.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected in any scientific endeavor. What's really encouraging, though, is that the overall trend in the research is undeniably positive.
Right.
We're seeing consistent evidence of its potential to improve healing, reduce inflammation, and even manage pain.
So while it's not a magic bullet, there's a lot of promising data emerging.
Yes.
And it seems like there's good reason to be optimistic about the future of this technology.
I couldn't agree more. I think what we're seeing here is a genuine shift in how we approach healing in dentistry. And the potential benefits for patients are simply too significant to ignore.
I completely agree with you. This has been a fascinating deep dive so far. We've gone from what is photobiomodulation to, wow, this could really change the game.
Absolutely.
But we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
There is.
Still tuned.
Yeah, it really is a paradigm shift. And I think what's, particularly exciting is how this technology is being refined and honed in on specific areas.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked a lot about 635 nanometers and 810 nanometers. And those are definitely wavelengths that are getting a lot of attention in the research, but there's a whole spectrum of light that's being investigated for its therapeutic potential.
That's right. You mentioned earlier that MedWave is focusing on those two.
Right.
635 and 810.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a specific reason those wavelengths are taking center stage?
Yeah, there are a couple of key reasons for that.
Okay.
So firstly, these wavelengths fall within what's called the optical window for biological tissues.
Okay.
So that means they can penetrate deeper into the body, reaching those targeted cells more effectively.
Got it.
And secondly, a growing body of research has shown these specific wavelengths to be particularly effective in stimulating healing and reducing inflammation.
So it's a combination of good penetration and proven results. It sounds like they're really strategically aligning their technology with the latest scientific findings.
Absolutely. They're not just throwing darts at a board here. They're making informed decisions based on the evidence. No. And while MedWave has chosen to focus on those two wavelengths, it's worth noting that research on photobiomodulation is exploring a much broader range of light.
Right.
For instance, some studies have investigated the effects of a 940 nanometer diode laser on dental implant stability.
Okay.
While others have looked at the impact of an 830 nanometer laser on the process of osseointegration. That's how well the bone bonds with the implant.
Okay.
So, it's a diverse field with a lot of different avenues being explored. It's like researchers are piecing together this giant puzzle.
Yeah.
With each study adding another piece to the overall picture of how light can be used to promote healing.
We've talked a lot about the science and the research, but let's bring it back to our listener for a moment.
Okay.
Why should they care about all of this? How could this actually impact their lives?
Well, that's where things get really interesting, especially for anyone who's ever experienced gum disease, had dental implants, or gone through any kind of oral surgery.
Right.
Because photobiomodulation has the potential to transform how we approach these procedures, making them less painful, less invasive, and ultimately more effective.
So we're not just talking about making existing treatments a bit better. We're talking about opening up entirely new possibilities for how we approach dental care.
Exactly. Think about it. What if photobiomodulation became as routine as getting an X-ray before a procedure?
Yeah.
What if it was used to prep the tissues before surgery, minimize inflammation during treatment, and accelerate healing afterward?
It's almost like giving our bodies a superpower.
Right.
When it comes to dental health.
It's not that far-fetched. And the potential benefits extend far beyond what we've already discussed. I mean, researchers are exploring the use of photobiomodulation for things like temporomandibular joint disorder, TMJ, nerve regeneration after oral surgery, and even treating oral cancers.
It sounds like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
We are, and that's what makes this field so exciting. You know, we have this compelling research, but there's still so much more to learn. More studies, more clinical trials, more long-term data, all of these are needed to fully grasp the scope of photobiomodulation's potential.
So it's like a call to action for all the researchers out there.
Yeah.
But on a more practical level, what does this mean for someone listening who might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but where do I go from here?
That's a great question. And I think the first step is simply to be aware of this technology and its potential benefits. If you're facing a dental procedure or struggling with a condition like gum disease, don't be afraid to ask your dentist about photobiomodulation. See if it's something they offer or if it might be a good option for you.
That's excellent advice. Knowledge is power, as they say.
It is.
And the more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to make decisions about your own dental care.
Absolutely.
Now, I know we've touched on MedWave's role in all of this, but let's dive a bit deeper into what they're doing to bring this technology to patients.
Sure. Well, MedWave is really at the forefront of developing user-friendly and effective photobiomodulation devices for dental professionals.
Okay.
They're focused on creating products that are backed by science, easy to use, and can be seamlessly integrated into a dental practice.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but it's about making it accessible and practical for dentists to incorporate into their treatment plans.
Exactly. They're bridging that gap between the research and real-world application, which is crucial for getting this technology into the hands of those who can benefit from it most.
Speaking of benefits, we've talked a lot about faster healing, reduced inflammation. What about pain management?
Oh, yeah.
That's a big concern for a lot of people, especially when it comes to dental procedures.
You're right. Pain management is a huge factor.
Yeah.
And one of the most compelling aspects of photobiomodulation is its potential to offer this drug-free, non-invasive alternative for pain relief.
Okay.
Now, the research in this area is ongoing, but we're seeing some encouraging results.
Okay.
That suggests photobiomodulation can significantly reduce pain levels after dental surgery.
So potentially fewer pills, fewer side effects, and a more comfortable recovery.
Exactly.
I think that's something a lot of people would be interested in.
Absolutely.
What about long-term implications of using this?
Yeah.
Are there any potential drawbacks or concerns that we should be aware of?
That's an important question. And as with any new technology, it's essential to be cautious and consider potential risks.
Sure.
However, one of the most remarkable things about photobiomodulation is its safety profile.
Okay.
So the wavelengths of light used are non-ionizing, meaning they don't damage DNA like some other forms of radiation.
So it's a very gentle form of treatment.
Exactly. And decades of research have shown that when used correctly,
Okay.
photobiomodulation has very few side effects. Of course, it's always best to consult with your dentist to determine if it's an appropriate treatment option for you.
That's great to hear. It sounds like this has the potential to revolutionize not just how we treat dental conditions, but how we manage pain and promote healing in a safe and effective way.
I couldn't agree more. And it's important to remember that we're still in the early stages of understanding the full potential of this technology. As research continues to evolve, I think we'll see even more exciting applications emerge.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
We've explored the science, the research, the potential benefits of photobiomodulation.
Yeah.
But there's one big question that's been looming in my mind this whole time. What if this is just the beginning? We've seen how technology can disrupt entire industries. Like think about smartphones and communication or streaming and entertainment.
Right.
What if photobiomodulation does the same thing for dentistry?
I mean, it's a fascinating question, and it really gets at the heart of why we're both so excited about this field.
Yeah.
I think if the research continues to build on these positive findings, and companies like MedWave keep innovating, it's not a stretch to imagine photobiomodulation becoming a standard part of dental care.
So we're not just talking about an alternative treatment, but like a fundamental shift in how we approach dental health.
Exactly. What if photobiomodulation was as routine as an X-ray?
Right.
Used to prepare tissues before surgery, reduce inflammation during a procedure, and then speed up healing afterward.
It would be like giving our bodies a healing advantage when it comes to dental care.
Exactly. And the applications could go even further.
Yeah.
Researchers are looking into photobiomodulation for things like TMJ disorder, nerve regeneration, even treating oral cancers.
Yeah, it feels like we're only just beginning to understand the possibilities.
Absolutely. The current research is compelling, but there's so much more to discover.
Right.
More studies, more clinical trials, more long-term data. It's all needed to truly unlock the potential.
Yeah, this deep dive has been incredible. We've gone from what is photobiomodulation to, wow, this could be the future of dentistry.
I know, it's really exciting.
It is. And I hope we've sparked some curiosity in our listeners.
Yeah.
And maybe even inspired them to learn a little bit more about this.
Well,
if you are interested in learning more about photobiomodulation and the exciting work being done by companies like MedWave, I encourage you to check out their website.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
It's a great resource for staying up to date on all this groundbreaking technology.
Absolutely. And beyond that, just stay curious.
Yes.
About the incredible ways light is being used in healthcare. There are so many fascinating discoveries happening right now, and photobiomodulation is really just one example of how science is changing the way we approach health and well-being.
Well said. On that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and remember to keep those minds curious. We'll be back soon with another fascinating look at the cutting edge of science and technology.